Good afternoon, everyone. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today on my channel, I have Jacqueline Pope. Welcome, Jacqueline. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, like you said, my name is Jacqueline Pope. I live in Hitchcock, Texas. I am a born-again believer. I am married with a blended family of 11 children and 5 grandchildren. I've been a registered nurse for 31 years and recently retired. Yay! And I am the author of Broken Hearts, Forgotten Promises, Break the Cycle, and Start Anew. And that book was published at the end of 2018.
Okay. Tell us about your book, Broken Hearts, Forgiven Promises.
Mm-hmm. Broken Hearts, Forgotten Promises is really the theme of the book is about waiting, dating, and marriage God's way. And it's also about, if we didn't do it God's way and we have an opportunity, of course, we can always start anew. It's about bringing hope and healing to those who have either have failed relationships or failed marriages where they can start again.
Okay. And your second book is Anew?
No, actually, that's one book, Broken Hearts, Forgotten Promises, Break the Cycle, and Start Anew.
Okay. And your second one is?
No, that's the only book that I have.
Right now. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's right. That's right
okay.
now.
Okay. Would you like to read something from that?
I would. I am going to read. This is actually in my book, chapter 3. It's called Preserving My Heart, and it's just a paragraph I'm going to read here. Here it says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. And that's Proverbs 4:23. A guarded heart. When we think of relationships, we have all heard different sayings regarding our heart, such as follow your heart, trust your heart, or even let your heart lead you. Has there ever been a time when you had someone in your heart that you had no doubt that they were the one you had been waiting for? If the answer is yes, you are among every other person in the world, including myself, who have allowed their heart to be their compass. Remember those sincere statements we made. I feel it in my heart that this is the person for me, or my heart is telling me this is the one. I feel it so strongly. I was in the same camp. Unfortunately, this amounted to us following our hearts into some of the deepest, darkest places of great sadness and disappointment. This does not mean that everything in our heart is bad, but neither is it all good.
Amen. What was the hardest part about writing your story?
I think that what really brought me to what I did, I compiled, this book is really compiled of stories that have been shared with me through my journey and also mine. But I think one of the hardest parts was toward the end. One of the young ladies who shared with me with the information that I put in the book, I was kind of procrastinating, taking my time, other things were getting in the way and or trying to get in the way. And I heard that she was found deceased in her apartment. And that just gave me the fire to complete this book. So the hardest part of me doing was allowing things to get in the way. I mean, I think that's with anything that we're really supposed to pursue. All kinds of obstacles will come. But then when I heard that, it just gave me the motivation to get it done.
Wow. What is something readers would be surprised to know about you?
Oh, let's see. Well, I think well, I can tell you this. I have 6 children. I was married before, and my then husband was in a bad car accident. And eventually, after 2 weeks, he died, and I was left home with 6 children. One was in college, and the rest were here. And God gave me what I needed to take care of my kids and hold on to him and not look outside, of quickly trying to find somebody to help, somebody to, how we do. And so I think that's worth mentioning, because so many times we think we can't do it without the Lord. And for some people, it's like one person said to me, after my husband had passed, that are you really serious? Did you really keep yourself? No, I didn't keep myself. He kept me. So that's in the world that we're living in today, it's like, hey, you having these feelings, go get them taken care of. But I not that I'm so special, but I know God is special, and he kept me through that time. So
Hey, what are your thoughts on book reviews, whether they're good or bad?
what my thoughts are? I think my thoughts on book reviews as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good to have book reviews, because they're good to let you. I use reviews pretty much for everything that I buy, to be honest with you. So whether it's a hotel I'm looking at going to, or a rental place, so why not have a book review? And for the most part, unless somebody has something against you, if they read the book and it's their feelings is their feelings. But I think book reviews are good.
Okay. What has been the greatest accomplishment thus far as a writer?
My greatest accomplishment was getting this book out. That was it was like a weight lifted, because to be honest with you, I started writing this book over 10 years ago. And I jot here, jot there, get this, get that. Oh, then you start, doubt tries to come in, to say, you really shouldn't be writing that. Do you really want to write? Then I was like, oh no, I've got to get this. So my greatest accomplishment with this book was getting it published, and not just having it sitting on a shelf, some shoulda, woulda, coulda, task, but actually getting it done.
Okay. Describe your writing space.
My writing space. Can you be a little bit more, give me a little bit more?
Sit down and do your writing at.
Oh, my space. Okay, got you. Yes. Usually early in the morning was 3 to 5. I was working, my job was 8 to 5 o'clock. So in order for me, it's like, when you get a thought, you hop up and you got to write that thought down. Well, when I would write, it would always be early, because when I'd come home, you had things to do with the kids, you had things to, to take care of. So my space would generally be in a little room I had to the side. I could be sitting on the floor, or either while I'm praying, a thought would come to me, and I would have a tablet there where I would just jot down, and that's why I felt like it was this assignment was inspired, by the Lord. But my writing space, it's anywhere where I have a piece of paper for the most part, and I can just jot down some, if you're in the bathroom, a thought comes, just write it down. But for the most part, I had a little room to the side that I would go in and just, meditate on what I was going to write on.
Okay. My next question was, what inspires you to write?
Yes. And of course, I didn't want to write something, we all say the Lord told us to do something, we hear that. And look, hey, how do we know what the Lord has given somebody? But because I kept putting it down and had to keep picking it up, it was just so many things that came. And that young lady that I had, just mentioned, that was found deceased, I had talked to her. Do I have time to say this?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I had an encounter with her. We were talking, and she shared with me that she had met this guy, and she was so excited about it. And she had a daughter at the time. And what I said to her was, and I was scary, sometimes when you try to encourage someone in doing something that's right, you get labeled as being judgmental, or who are you to tell me what to do with my life? So I tried to come as easy as I could. So since she shared with me that she was a Christian, a believer, I said, did you talk to the Lord about him? Her response was to me, my daughter likes him. And I said, but that's not what I asked, and that's my whole point in doing that, was to just to make her think, wait a minute, I need to stop, slow down here, put on the brakes. And I went on vacation, and when I came back, she had married him. And I was shocked, but I was like, oh, I'm so happy, for you. And then I got to thinking, oh, maybe I said the wrong thing to her. Maybe I shouldn't have, and not even a month later, when I saw her, just trying to keep it just as simple as possible. When I saw her, he had jumped on her, and she was telling everybody she was in a car accident. And she said, can I talk to you for a moment? She came back to tell me the real story. And then she said, now I'm pregnant. And so all I could do was just wrap my arms around her, let her know that, God cares. I cared about her. And I was so sorry that this happened to her. Years down the line, when I saw she had gotten a divorce, and it was like one relationship after the other, just a spiraling down, until I last heard that they found her in her apartment. So I say that to say this, if we're given something, if the Lord gives us something to say to somebody, doesn't matter what we think, how they're going to feel. We just be obedient to the task and leave the consequences to him.
Yes, yes, yes. Is there lots to do before you dive in and start writing a story?
For me, yes, I had to, what I did, I knew that what I wanted to write about was relationships, because it's like a passion, once you've been through something, and you want to help somebody either not to go through that, or to go, to follow that path, it becomes a passion for you most of the time. And so I knew relationships, but I wasn't sure on how I was going to do it. So I just sat down and I thought, okay, you're going to have chapters, you're going to have, so what do you want people to know about relationships? What are some things? So I tried to just things that would happen in my life from day to day. That's good to know, that's good to write about. So I just kind of made a little list, and then I just compiled what I needed, what really may not have been so much, not necessary, but I didn't need to say a whole lot about. And so all you need is some pen and some paper, and a mind to write. Mm-hmm. A heart to write.
What was your favorite or least favorite part about publishing, your publishing journey?
Oh my goodness. My least favorite part about publishing was when, everybody is, I don't want to speak bad about the publisher or anything like that, but when you're trying to get your point across, my least favorite, what happened to me was, it was a couple of things, but I don't know if it's because of the publisher that you go with, or these things just happen and you just have to work them out. But you have to go back and forth, mm-hmm. Going back and forth, trying to get it just right. That was probably one of my least favorite things. And then when they didn't get it right, and then might have said, no, you gave it wrong. No, we just didn't get that kind of thing. It's all of that, I guess, in trying to get a book published, that the publisher understands what you're trying to do, and just not getting it just right. But we got through it. So that was one of my things, is just the going back to, not that they're going to get it right the first time, but they're supposed to be putting down what you want them to put down. So there you go.
And what was your favorite part about publishing?
My favorite part about publishing was just knowing that now I am going to be an author. That was my favorite part. Now I'm going to get the word out, about relationships. That was my favorite part. Just knowing my little say means something. So I wanted to put it on paper, and there you go.
What do you want readers to take away when reading this book?
I want readers to take away that above everything else, particularly those who are interested in a relationship, God's way is the only way. It's not the only way, but it's the best way that you can choose. And I hate to even say best, because in my heart, it is the only way. I wanted them to take away, there are so many avenues for relationships. You got people showing you, we can meet them this way, you can meet them that way. Let me introduce you this way, that way. But I really want people to know, put it before God before you do anything else. Shine it on his light, not your light, because our light is kind of dim,
Yep.
but shine it on his light, and let him, and take time. You're not in a hurry. You're not on a time schedule to meet somebody. Even if you're of a certain age, when we're young and we want to have children, and, I've got to meet somebody right now. Look, God knows what to do in all of that. But it brings him joy that we come to him to let him know apart from him, we can do nothing. And he sees the heart of every man. That's another thing I want people to take away. He knows the heart. We can dress up the outside. We can fix it up. We can have the house, the car, the job, whatever the case may be. God knows the heart of that person, and he wants you to bring your desires to him, so his desires will be your desires.
Yes. How do you get your book published?
What I did, I tried to look at, you brought up the book reviews. I was looking at the publishing reviews, and I tried to see, which one. Of course, this was years ago. Things have, I'm sure, changed, but I just looked to see which publishers had a good review. And once I saw, which publisher that and of course, you can go by word of mouth. You can check with people to see, who. I even went into the Lifeway store, since my book is Christian nonfiction. I went into some of the Christian bookstores and looked on the back of their books to see who was their publisher. So it's different ways that you can go around it just to see, okay. And then I Googled to see what they offered. And so that's one way. But for me, what I did that, and also went online to see the reviews of the publisher.
Okay. How do you market your books?
Oh, thank you, Miss Ambassador, for asking that. Because I am just now, since I recently retired, like my sister said to me, she said, okay, nobody can market your book like you can. You wrote it. So you have to get out there. You have to do the footwork if you want people to know about your book. So I've been, of course, I've had, I think 3 book signings, and I have created an author page on Facebook. Started with that, and also when I saw something on Facebook, that's how I met you, And so I thought, okay, this is an opportunity. Nothing is too small to get the word out about your book. So I did that. And then now what I started to do is just have little snippets on my page, on my author page, about something I wrote about in the book. It don't have to be the whole chapter, just maybe just a sentence that I felt like, somebody needs to hear this. And so that's what I've been doing on my page. And so pretty much that's it. So I'm trying to do more things. Some things are so expensive, but if you don't investigate it or look through, you would have paid $1,000 for something that you could have paid $200 for. You see what I'm saying? So you really have to, because people have the gift of gab, they draw you in and come on and you can do this and sign here. But I've learned that, you know what, do a little bit more research. Don't be so quick to hop on, to everything. You can save yourself money and do some more marketing with all that money that you put in one place. You can do more marketing with several places.
Yes, yes. What are you working on right now?
Well, right now I was thinking about doing a children's book. And I haven't actually started. It's at the heart. So like I haven't put it on pen and paper, but that's the thing that I thought about. But I said, Lord, I don't want to waste time in doing something that that's really not in his view for me to do. That's just something that has come to my heart. And so that's just something I'm thinking about doing. But as far as the writing, I had thought about doing a, how do you say it? Like a guide, a workbook, trying to put this into like a workbook. So maybe it would be something for a singles group, a church singles group or something like that. And to try to work people along. So that's another thing that's at the seat of my heart.
How can readers find you and your book?
Okay, they can find me at, I have a website, and just put in Broken Hearts, Forgotten Promises, Break the Cycle, Start Anew. Also, my book is on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, online, and I saw it at Walmart online. And so they can get me that way, or you can email me at jacquelineforlife@gmail.com. And I will converse. I'll gladly send you the book, and we'll go from there.
Is there anything else you would like to add before we close?
No, I just want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
And, I think you're doing a great job. I've looked at all your reviews and just getting the word out about people's books. I think that's a wonderful thing, because we need that. I can say a few things, but it's good when people can interview you and pull out what's really in your heart. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Happy reading. Bye, y'all.
Bye.